My parents we had a 44-acre farm where we did tobacco and corn and all. And things got so tough. Dad sold the farm for $1,400, $700 to pay off the farm debt, $700 to get in a house in Clarksville. And we lived there until my dad died and I was out in college. So it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but we came here, I was 6 years old, it was 1949, and I went to co-op school to the sixth grade. And then when I went to bird school, that gave me an opportunity to start to play basketball with the bigger guys. And then I was tall, I was clumsy, I couldn't hardly walk. And Coach Whitney started working with me, and he would work with me after school, and he would, after practice even, sometimes he kept me for an hour just jumping and getting my coordination down. Had we not moved to Clarksville, I would not have had the opportunity to play or even, have gone to Austin Peay. I was the first one in my family to go to college and graduate. Well, when we won the National High School basketball tournament, and it was a tournament that started out in the East at Hampton Institute, and it moved around the country, Tuskegee, Kansas City, different places, and it's finally settled at the airplane building or in Nashville at the TSU. The year that we came up, Cameron beat Pearl, and we beat Cameron in the state finals. And to my knowledge, that we were the first from Clarksville state champions for the city of Clarksville High School. And from that day on, it has been an easier path for me. Drake came down. I went to Drake, and it's a beautiful campus, big old rock and trees and vines going off the building. But I didn't like their style of basketball. They had that set-up basketball, and it took you weren't high scoring like we had been doing over my high school career. And I never really kind of considered Austin Peay because it was integrated back then, and there were no black players in the South from like Texas all the way around to West Virginia. There was like 20 schools that participated in the National High School Championship. And so what would happen is at Kingsville Garden, that's the venue in Nashville, the coaches from the big schools in the East and the West came to the tournament, to the Black High School National Championship, and they picked the litter. They picked the litter, and they were taking our guys out of the South, and I think that made a really good opportunity for integration because the coaches in the schools and places saw that we can't keep losing our guys to the northern schools. I have to mention Coach Fisher and Myra. They were just so nice to me, and the school was nice to me, and so we really enjoyed the support that they gave us, and them bringing us in and giving me the opportunity to be here. I knew things were opening up, and there were the Freedom Riders and everything. When I was going to schools, we would see them going to the South in the buses and all. But I didn't know how fast and if I would be, allowed to play. But I called Coach Whitney and I said, I'd like to be at a school that played the kind of ball that we played. One thing precipitated it was that we were going on a trip at Drake Christmas, and I had beat out an All-American at Drake. But when they came to give me the plane tickets to fly to Long Beach for the holiday tournament, they had his name on it, and that really crushed me inside. And I said, I don't want to be second. It was scary. It was just as scary for my parents, because even when Wilma went to the Olympics, and she came back here with her gold medals, we couldn't go to Shoney's down at on 2nd Street and Riverside Drive. You couldn't go in there. So Wilma came back here and she couldn't even stay downtown at a hotel or restaurants. Even when I came back, there was a little restaurant right over between 4th Street and the campus that I couldn't go with my teammates even to sit down and have a Coke or a hamburger. So it was tough. I mean, the apprehension was there. I didn't know how I was going to be treated, but I knew that I had to do something. I had to stay with my education. For the most part, it was pretty much even. There were a couple of incidences, and out in West Tennessee for UTMB, my first game out there, it wasn't really funny. It was really serious. They were throwing pennies and candy on the floor and using foul language, and so they had one guy in front of me and one guy in the back of me just wouldn't let me go. Didn't want me to play. It was holding me, and the referee wasn't making any calls. And so they bumped me one time, and I guess I just kind of lost it. And so I ended up punching the guy, knocking him out. And the referee threw me out of the game, of course. And I understood that. So I had to go to the dressing room, and they put a police guard on the door until the game was over. And then we had a police escort out of town. But that was probably the most dramatic. When I first got here, it was while I was doing my year that I had to spend and not playing basketball. We went to I don't know if it was Halloween party on somebody's farm, and there was, they had these things in the cornrows and stuff. And I remember they said, "Come on, Ellen, come on, let's go." And so I went with them. So when I came around the corner, someone spotted me, and I guess black people weren't supposed to be there. And so he said something, and Sheldon said, "He's with us. He's with us." And in other words, don't bother him. There was a time in the dorm when they tried to get down. My next year, my senior year in the dorm, that they burn a cross on the lawn in front of the dormitory, and they tried to get downstairs, but my teammates stopped them. I didn't even know about it for days, but that's the backup that I had. After I set out for a year, we went to Death Valley. I think that's what they call it over there, and Moorhead, and I think Eastern Kentucky. And Coach was my roommate, and so when we got up the next morning to get showered and get ready to go, Coach he called me Lum. He just put my L and M together. He said, "Lum, I have to be honest with you. I slept with one eye open last night." And I said, "Coach," "that's okay. I had both mine open." If you ask me what opportunity would I take now that I didn't know back then, is that I would have been reaching out to my teammates, because for the majority of them, I mean, almost all of them, they put themselves second and me first. And sometimes you have to have a little wisdom and a little age on you to realize that. I take an awful lot of pride, because I think it opened the doors for other people. When I came here to school, it was a little different. When I've come back in the future, and rode through the campus, the campus has transitioned into a good mix and the opportunity for all. I think that they should understand that it should be taken for granted, that they have to earn their way. And one of the things that I would say is that since 1963, I've been affiliated with the university for 58 years. And so I've served under probably 8, maybe nine presidents. I think my relationship with Austin Peay is a lifetime sentence, and to them also. And I think that I've tried to reciprocate, to Austin Peay, that give me an opportunity to get an education, a good education, and to go out and fulfill some of my life's dreams. I'm proud of what I've done with my life, but I could have done so much more. And it wasn't easy, but I'll hold my head up to any from where I came to where we were now. In 2 months, I'll be 78 years old. I have pretty good health for an old guy, and I'm proud of it. And I would say to Coach, I still have a year's eligibility left. And if he wants me to come and help him out, I need 1 day to practice my free throws. If he wants me to run a fast break, then I have to have 3 days because I got to get my wind back up.